Welcome to another Arius Wave update. Okay, so today I have a special chart to share with you, and this particular chart goes back to the beginning of XLM. Thanks to one of my loyal followers who recommended this chart. I thank you very much, sir. Now, I had to make sense of what this means, especially in the beginning. Okay, the only thing that I find to be probably not correct is this move that went below the start of what I think is a kind of 5-wave move that is like, it's like a leading pattern. Very sharp 5 waves up, followed by a zigzag, right? Now, if you look closely, you can see that there was that red candle, and then we had some weird price action that went below this line. You know, sometimes you get these pieces of chart data errors. So I have to like go back through different charts and sort of reconcile these things. Now I couldn't do it with this particular move here, but there is another move up ahead that I'll explain in a minute. So that means that this was an A wave. So wave 1 happened up here, wave A, and then we had a 3-wave move for B. Now, this particular pattern here is, in my opinion, I call it I think it's a type 2 weak wave C, right? Because actually no, it's type 1, where you have like three the impulsive moves are in 3 waves. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 around here, 5. Okay, that was sharp. So if you look, you can see in the middle that, anyway, when you look closely, you can see it. But I don't have time to go too deeply into that because there's some really other cool stuff I need to talk about. So that means that this wave that we're in now is a D wave. And this is starting to fit together with the rest of the picture that we have going on in global markets, basically, and what is about to happen with the US dollar and the euro and Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin to $200,000, around that price. XLM has a new target because I've adjusted my wave count around the B for the B wave in brackets in this D wave. So that target is now $55. So I mean, if you get to $50, I'd be just pulling the plug on this, right, and moving it to USDT for safety reasons, because there is an incoming move after this. We're going to see this, and then we're going to see this, okay? And this is going to be the E wave. This is going to be an extremely tricky wave, and I believe it's going to coincide with the GFC 2.0 idea in the Dow and the .com bust in the NASDAQ, which are going to happen simultaneously. And this will spell the end of the move up for the US dollar. The US dollar will make one final run up to make a new high to complete that A wave pattern. If you haven't seen the bullish series, I suggest you get busy because it explains everything. It puts everything together video by video. Each video builds on the previous idea, and we get an understanding of the general landscape. Okay, so let's talk about the B wave in brackets here, down here in this area. All right. So after really just thinking about this for a while, I came to the conclusion that the B wave was this move that extended all the way back up here. Now, the way that I drew this channel was from the start of, where was it? Sorry, how did I do this one again? Oh yeah, sorry. So it was the start of the A wave, right? And then you put it to the end of the B wave, right, in brackets. Okay, this is a special Arius wave technique, channeling technique, and then you can see how price action has actually conformed and, you know, basically respected this midpoint here, and then we basically went all the way down here. We corrected underneath, and that's when the whole corona thing happened. So that explains that particular A wave there in great detail. Now, this particular B wave, the A wave ended here. Then we had a 3-3-5 pattern. Okay, so basically it is the B wave started here and it ended there. Okay, so that's why I just had to go back and re-look at this, because then you had your C wave, which was obviously the last part of the zigzag. Now, the interesting part here is just the way this whole thing looks. It just looks very impressive, and it explains a lot about the recent price action that we've seen. So I'm going to go down to the hourly chart now, right up to the top there, where the B, the C, and the D patterns are. So the end of B up here, okay, and then we had that move back in Feb. That was a C wave. This, I concluded that it's a D wave, right? And then this is an E wave, okay? So that is, by my standards in Arias wave, that is basically a perfect pattern right there, a perfect setup, and basically critical support is the red line down the bottom here at about 36 cents roughly. And we already broke above the start of wave E, right? Which indicates that this thing is about to fly high. Now, we've already done internal counts on this one. I can go quickly, just put a couple of labels on there just so you can get a feel if you're not aware. I will post all the related ideas down below so you can check them out. So basically this is wave one, and then we had wave two, which ended here, and then we had wave I, which ended up ended up here, and then we had the A wave. Remember we spoke about this. We had the first A wave, right? In the last video I mentioned how the similarities between what's going on with that. So this move here that's happening now, I do believe something tells me that it is just part of a B wave, right? A B wave that is still unfolding. There's the A wave. The B wave is sharp, and then it's just going to go up like that. B, and then you might even see another C, D, E pattern of some kind. I'm not sure what that's going to look like exactly, because we can't really know that much, but we have a general picture. We know where it's headed. We can see that it's broken. We've got the V-shape recovery of which is what happens at the end of the E wave when you are continuing up on the trend. So for people who think that this is like a top or whatever, it's just not right, because for starters, we haven't even hit the all-time high yet. So it can't be. This is not a 5-wave structure, okay? It may look like a 5-wave structure, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever, or however else you want to try and wrangle that into, using your confirmation bias. But basically, for this to be, officially the B wave, obviously we can't. You can't go below this area here. Okay. At this point in time. Okay. I'm not saying it can't happen later, right? But I doubt that it's going to do that. I think now that we're in wave C, the corrections will sort of correct upward in an upward fashion, just like we saw here, right? I highly doubt you're going to see this kind of 1-2, only to see, something like this and this and this to go down like this low. I mean, why would it do that? it's in a third of a third wave. So there's no real logic behind that thinking, and that's the sort of thing that RES wave does. It gives you that that framework where you can only see patterns in certain spots. Like, if it doesn't make sense back here, then you're not going to know what's going on up here, type thing, right? And you're not going to know that there's going to be another move coming, right? And this is the kind of thing that a lot of people don't understand. So uh, I like dismantling trolls, the views of the trolls and the people who give one word comments that don't even back up their claims. It's just pathetic. And to me, I have fun doing this, right? Sometimes a little bit too much fun, right? As you might know. But yeah. So just looking back at the daily chart for a moment, in terms of time frame, right? I do expect this to start heading north very fast in a pretty decent way. It's going to probably interact with that midpoint at some point there, or it could just fly straight through it, because if it's going to be a third of a third wave, right? You might see just some really sharp movement, right? Just straight up. So my target is around August. So I suppose if you look where that target is, the measured move for the A wave from the B to the C, and you see how the channel meets that area, right? So I'll just put it here. It meets it right about there. So that's the 22nd of August. It could even be the 21st of August. Sometimes I see some funny things happen with markets where it's like, you know, the 21st of the 21st, like 21 or 11th day of the 11th month. Sometimes you see these weird sort of things, and you think nothing of them, because obviously you can't really use it as a guide. But that's roughly when I think that the markets are going to top out, especially because of the Jackson Hole meeting that's coming up. I think it's in around that time, where they're going to start talking about tapering and all these sorts of things, and interest rates. And I just think there's a lot of stuff coming up soon over the next few months, and it's going to be a very interesting time. Now, it's not unusual for a D wave to be this expanded. I mean, you've seen the kind of B wave that Bitcoin is making, right? That's pretty huge compared to the little A wave that came before it, right? But it doesn't make a difference, because at the end of the day, it's just fractal patterns. And if you know how those fractal patterns work, you can just you can make your guesstimations, educated guesstimations. And then where does it fall back down to? Well, that's another RES wave type. I suppose there's a couple of different kinds of corrections. If they're expanded corrections, then price may only fall back down to maybe somewhere like where there's some kind of support. In this case, it could be the bottom of the channel, right? Something like that. That would be an expanded correction. If the E wave ended there, that I would call that an expanded correction, because wave two ended. It didn't end near the end of wave one, right? But if we get a really crazy scenario where for some reason this thing ends up being not an expanded correction, the type that is just expanded, but then it comes back to the white dotted line, it'd be like that area that I've marked there with that faint dotted white line, right? So nobody knows. We don't know how crazy things are going to get, but we have an idea of what to expect. So this is the kind of stuff that I love. I love that I've seen this chart. To me, it makes perfect sense. And also just if you have a look at this piece of data here, that's not allowed to happen in a zigzag, right? Because it went below the start of wave A of that zigzag. But if you look on if you look on another XLM chart, right, you don't see that. That's not there. So to me, that just adds more proof. It would have been nice if there was another chart that I could reconcile this particular move down here, right? The one I spoke about before, right? That's not allowed either. But I don't think there is one. If there is one, great. I'd like to see it. If you know about it, put it in the comments, whatever, right? But all in all, this is a bullish trend, but the correction hasn't ended yet. So this is a perfect time to fill those bags, keep filling them until you think it's getting a bit expensive or whatever. And then when it gets to $50, before it hits that line, you want to be a bit safe. You don't want to be, it might even overshoot. It might even overshoot, but we're not playing the guessing game, right? We're not playing the guessing game. We're playing the measured move, sensible profit-taking kind of game, right? And then there'll be an opportunity to rebuy, and you can reinvest all those lovely profits at a cheaper price, and you can diversify into other coins. And I love XRP. There's going to be a time to buy cheap again, but you got to have the profits first to do that, right? So yeah, I mean, that's it for now. So hopefully you found this video interesting and informative. Thank you for watching.